Hello traders, this is Blake Morrow with ForexAnalytix and you're listening to the week ahead video for January 13th, 2019. And I want to welcome you to today's end of week wrap up, looking into the week ahead. But before I get into that, I just want to say that we have our New Year offer is in full effect and it's good until the end of next week, until the 18th, which actually is Friday of next week. So this is one of a few times throughout the course of the year. I say few, it's more like a couple of times throughout the course of the year that we offer a very discounted rate off of our plans. And so if you were thinking about becoming a ForexAnalytix subscriber, make sure you do so this week. This is the week to do it. So just click where it says sign up today right here in the middle of the screen. And then once you do that, you can download our mobile app. You can join our private chat room, which we have about 100 some odd traders there throughout the course of the day. Well, through North American trade and then through Europe and Asia, there's obviously a lot of traders around the clock. So make sure you take advantage of that. Okay, now I'm going to talk a little bit about the price action that we saw on Friday. And I really want to start with the euro dollar. And the reason why I want to start with the euro is because the euro came down, stopped me out. I was long on this breakout here above 115. My cost average like 115.10. I got stopped out when it dropped to 114.70. I picked it up at 60, sold it at 80 on Friday, so I made back some of the losses that I took. But overall, I want to tell you guys that I still think the euro is developing a bottoming pattern. I think even though the breakout point here was 114.50-ish, where we had to close above, and I think that was important, and we closed above it going into Friday, I still think that even if we pull back a little bit towards, let's say Monday, because Sunday night, Monday, the euro closed pretty weak. There might be some selling that takes us all the way down towards, could take us all the way down towards 114 and change. 114.07 is actually a 618 retracement. So I think the euro is developing some sort of rounded bottom here, and it's not easy. So when you're trading the euro, think about, if you have a bullish bias like me, think about buying pullbacks versus trying to buy the breakout, especially given that the breakout above 115, this key resistance that we were really focused on here, that failed. So think about it more as a rounded bottom, buy dips, sell rallies. That's the way I'm going to approach it first and foremost. Now, another currency pair that I think is extremely, we had a very, very strong close on Friday, was the cable. Now the cable, as you can see, is running into some channel resistance here, which is a bit of a risk, but the fact that we closed above 128 I think is pretty positive for the pound. Now we have supposedly this week, the vote in Parliament, which obviously could put the pound at lower levels, right on after a vote. But there are traders that believe that if it fails Parliament, that it could still end up being a positive cable reaction following the vote. So following this channel, a dip down to like 126.50, that might provide a decent buying opportunity for the pound. So that's something that I'll be watching going into next week. Obviously without even saying, a move above 130 is pretty bullish. It would clear the big figure, and I think that would start the potential of squeezing a lot of cable shorts. The market's still pretty short the pound. So if the cable rips up above 130, that might really trigger some short squeezing there. A couple other currencies that are really strong, the Aussie still holding up very well. We had that false breakdown, and I warned you guys last week ahead video that we might continue to squeeze because of the false breakdown, and yes, we have continued higher. We could move up towards the 200-day moving average that's near the 73-cent level. You can see it right up there. Now if you look at the Kiwi, the Kiwi also is above the 200-day moving average. That's a pretty bullish development. Now I think the Kiwi's in a longer term range. that could take us all the way up to 70 cents. If you've been listening to the daily free webinars that we do offer, you guys can feel free to tune in anytime. I've been talking about just move up to 70 cents. So I don't think that's out of the question at this point in time. Now, one last currency pair I will talk about is the Canadian. The Canadian dollar. We sold off pretty aggressively. I was short the New Zealand Canadian. If you once again listen to the free daily webinars we do, and it's not a currency pair that we follow here on ForexAnalytix, but it is something that we've been talking about on the webinar. I closed that out earlier this week. So I was long a lot of Canadian dollars going into earlier this week. I closed it actually at the lows on the New Zealand Canadian, right off the lows, and it's bounced since then. But the dollar Canadian's actually firmed up a little bit, and I think that any rally now towards 134 may offer a selling opportunity. Crude oil looks pretty weak, and let me take you over to crude. Crude looks pretty weak here, but I tweeted something about this. If you follow me on Twitter, you might have saw this, but I think this is a longer term inverted head and shoulder pattern for the for the crude oil market. So watch crude on a dip back to 50. I think if you guys do trade crude oil, a $50 handle might offer a good buying opportunity. You can really manage risk down there. If you buy it at 50, you can probably put in a 50-cent stop, and I always look at, hey, if you're going to risk 50 cents, can you make $2? And in that case, if it dips down 50 or just below and you pick it up on the long side, your risk reward I think is pretty good. And especially if we actually do what I think we're going to do, and we have an inverted head and shoulder pattern with the neckline that comes in at $54 or 54, 55, that we break back above that, and now we're talking back into the 60s. So if that happens, then we do have a Canadian dollar that I think could continue lower towards 130. So those are my views on some of the major currencies. Now, just talk about next week really fast. On Tuesday, we have producer prices in the U.S. Then we have the ECB president on Tuesday is also speaking. Remember, we have tentatively the UK Brexit vote next week, and I'll be looking for indications if it's going to be on the 14th or 15th. Coming into the end of the weekend, I'll be reading some bank analysis, looking for any indications that we might see. I think it is going to be rejected by Parliament, but the vote may be pushed back. It's been pushed back before, so it could be pushed back again. Bank of England Carney is also speaking. Governor Carney is also speaking Wednesday morning. We have UK CPI on Wednesday. We have G20 meetings starting Wednesday as well. Bank of Japan, Kuroda is going to speak on Wednesday night. And then on Friday, we have UK retail sales, and also we have Canadian CPI later on that morning. So a few data points to pay attention to going into next week. And, guys and gals, if you find or have found this video to be beneficial for you going into next week, make sure you give us a thumbs up on YouTube, subscribe to our channel, so this way you don't miss any of the great interviews that Dale Pinkert does throughout the course of the week. And remember, we do cover the markets on the face webinar throughout the course of the week, and then also there's the European crossover. If you hear my dogs in the back, you have to excuse me. it happens even in a home office. But guys and gals, my name is Blake Morrow. I'm with ForexAnalytix. This is the week ahead video. Thank you so much for listening in, and have a wonderful remainder of your weekend. Thank you.